Evening and welcome back to the Mancunian way. I hope you are all good. My name is Martin, I'm your host, and tonight we are going to talk all about Manchester City's trip to Newcastle United in 48 hours, Wednesday night in the third round of the Carabao Cup. And tonight we've got friend of the channel, PD Proudluck. How are you, mate?
Very well, thanks, you.
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad at all. Oh, Rich has just joined. And we've got Gary. It was meant to be Baz, but his partner in crime has joined up. Gary, thank you for joining us, mate. Through Black and White Eyes. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for inviting us. Looking forward to it. Obviously, Baz is unwell, so I'm taking over.
And he's here.
Good morning. Morning,
Rich. Hey, Rich, remind me to buy you an alarm clock.
What, so I can press snooze?
No. Listen, no, got to give it. Rich gets up early in the morning because he's living the good life in Sydney.
Oh,
very nice.
But you need to get me a 4-minute snooze instead of a 9-minute snooze. Then I might be able to press it 3 times and I'd get up 15 minutes earlier.
Yeah, right. We'll just say some quick hellos and then we'll get into it. Ethan said, I'm sacrificing nothing. It's because I put a poll up. There is a poll currently going on, if you didn't know, basically asking you, what would you rather sacrifice, the Carabao Cup or the Club World Cup? Currently, at the moment, the League Cup is winning by 70%. So, yeah, that tells you what everyone's thinking right now on the Carabao Cup, because the league don't help us out very much. Ethan's then put, give KP captain. Calm down, mate. He's getting the game. Never mind. Now you want to give him captaincy. Keeps KP scoring 5 over the next 3 games. 6-0. Ethan's going for. Get Carson in the net. Gotta love that, Ethan. Michael Feeney, yes, please smash that like button. That'd be much appreciated if you haven't. It would be if you haven't seen the Notts Forest post-match stream on Thursday night, go and give that a view. Yep, spot on. Hello, Alec Johnson. How are you, mate? Hope you are well. Hello, Michael Feeney. Hope you are good. DC, how are you? Hope America's doing you very well tonight. Mark, good evening. Says, in gang, maybe bump into you at the Martin at the match. Hopefully, yeah. If you do see me up there on Wednesday night, come and say hello by all means. Up in the gods. One of the best City shows. Thank you so much, Alec Johnson. Patrick is working tonight. Why he's not with us. So he'll be popping in saying hello. I was Stephen Bennett. Hey up, mate. Looking forward to KP Wednesday night. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, well, you go off, we'll get into it. We'll go off Pep, though. It might be an EDS team that walk up there. Mogul Blade, hello. How are you? Stevie, good evening. I like coffee. How are you, mate?
Coffee.
Everyone just saying hello to the chaps. MCFRTV, good evening, mate. How are you? Hope you are well. Kay, good evening. Rather go for the Club World Cup because we haven't won it. We will get into it. Can't wait to go to the Newcastle game, says Bella. You voted for the League Cup. You want to say, anyway, we'll get into it. So, Colin, good evening as well. We'll come back to your comments in a moment. So, Wednesday night, Carabao Cup time. We'll start with you, Pete. Obviously, you're going to look at this in a very different way than we're going to look at it, I think. Pep's already basically threw the white flag up and said, we ain't really taking this serious at all. Basically because we really can't. Because we can't win the competition. Unless the league do us a favour, because we can't be in 2 places at once. Because on the date of the quarterfinals, we are playing in Saudi Arabia. So all our squad will be over in Saudi Arabia playing in the Club World Cup. On the, is it the 18th or the 19th of December, Rich? Are we the 19th?
It might be the 19th, but the round is the week of the 18th. So chances are 19th or 20th, I think, are the
None of our lads will
What
be in
final
England.
dates?
We won't be in the UK. We'll be in Saudi Arabia. It was a bit like Liverpool 3 years ago. I think it was 2019. They had to, when they got smacked by Villa 5-0, they basically stuck a scratch team out up there. Absolute scratch team.
The difference is Klopp whined about it for about 3 weeks and Pep hasn't bothered.
What's the point? They're not going to change anything. They made us play on Saturday night at 8 o'clock when we'd just been in the Super Cup. They moved the game 2 hours to help.
It's an interesting philosophical question for Klopp. What's the point in whining? Not much.
Because it's
But
Klopp.
it doesn't stop him. Yeah.
Klopp. He's a bit like his fans. Whines. So, Pete, now you know that. Are you surprised? Changing the? It sounds like you didn't kind of know we were in this little predicament.
No, I am a bit surprised that that Pep said he's not going to take this competition a bit seriously.
It's very unlike Pep.
It is, isn't it?
Normally, we take it more seriously than most other clubs in the Premier League, including some of the ones in the bottom half. But yeah, I think it's partly because of that, and partly because we've got 5 or 6 players injured. So it's not like he's even
Still blaming you for it, Rich.
Yeah. What are you blaming me for? Because I said it was inevitable after last season.
Because you said 3 weeks ago on the start of the season, we hardly had injuries last season. So we've got a smaller squad than we ever had, and we had the smallest squad last season. We've suddenly jumped to now an even smaller squad, and you went, we've had no injuries, and now we've got a flood of them.
Yeah, well, we're not the only ones. I mean, it's, we talked about too much football and injuries, but I think probably the injuries are as big a part of it, because Pep would probably, if he had every player fit, would probably be able to send 5, 6, 7 decent players. But I think with those players out and Arsenal in 12 days time or 11 days time, there's no way he's going to risk, having to play the kids at Arsenal and getting a few more injuries.
Well, Ethan's confident. He says, Garrett, did you know that? Obviously, we're in this little predicament we're in.
I didn't have a clue, man. One thing I would say is what the Premier League saying about this. Are they saying they'll move a fixture about or anything like that? Or no?
It's nothing to do with the Premier League. It's down a FIFA.
Not the Premier League, sorry, the Carabao Cup. They said they can move the fixture or something.
This was the problem Liverpool had. So. The league were willing to move stuff for Liverpool by a day. Yeah. It was like a day or 2 days. The problem is FIFA wouldn't move anything. So, which I get because it's a tournament held in Saudi Arabia. They can't change those dates. So, this is the problem. When you win the Champions League, you've got to go to these competitions. We're even in it in because of our cohesive points thing. We're even in it in the next one when it revamps. We're in the one in June and July in America the year after. And we're automatically in that. So we've got that problem to contend with as well. We did a show a few weeks back about far too many games. This is the problem with it's great winning the treble, but it comes at a price where you just got to play game after game after game, which is not great. But at the moment, we could go there and play the team, but it's when you get to them last stages, you're gonna have to throw your kids out.
Yeah.
Knowing our luck, we'll end up with the Rags. We'll end up with United at the Swamp.
Well,
and have to throw kids out.
Yeah, exactly. But that would be easy. I mean,
no, it really wouldn't be.
If we knew now, we get the Rags. No, but listen, you and me could turn out for us, and we'd probably beat them at the minute.
True.
That's probably what's going to happen, though, isn't it? Yous are going to send the first team to Saudi Arabia, and if you get there, the kids are going to play in the quarterfinals. That's probably what will happen.
I honestly, I think you'll send the kids tomorrow night. I think there'll be a few first teamers or first team squadders, but from what I heard, there was 2 or 3 young lads being called up. Problem is as well, the EDS are playing on. Are they playing tomorrow night, Rich, at Bristol, aren't they?
Yeah. So we'll know tomorrow night.
We'll know tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's when we'll know. I mean, obviously this is your chance because obviously Pep's already said he's not giving. This was his exact quote yesterday, from the. When was it? After the Forest game in the thing, he said, "I'm giving the Carabao Cup 1% of my energy."
Very surprising.
And then he said, "If the physio gives me clearance on my back, you might see
Pep
me."
Guardiola's playing.
Is it not Pep playing mind games though? Because he's good at them, isn't he?
I reckon in this case, no, and I think it's
No.
Yeah,
but I think it's as much because of the injuries, because he's not gonna risk any of the main defenders till Stones is fit, because we haven't got cover. With Kovacic injured, possibly back next weekend, with Grealish injured, with De Bruyne injured, with Rodri, who's had a red card, so he can't play for that. So and Bernardo's injured, so he's going to have he's not going to risk Nunes, Foden, or the couple of fit midfielders we've got left, Calvin Phillips. I suppose he could risk Phillips because he might not be intending to play him, even if we're pulling Scott Carson into midfield. So I think we'll see, we'll obviously see Ortega playing goal. He's, a great goalkeeper. We might see players like Rico Lewis, possibly Calvin Phillips, coming through. But I think a lot of the rest of the team he's got to rest because there's no cover, because he's got a small squad, which he likes, very high quality small squad. But when you have 6 injuries and you've only got, 15 players you're really seriously playing, you're not left with much cover to risk extra injuries. But I think if that's the case, fantastic opportunity for Newcastle, because I've always felt that going and winning a trophy is absolutely vital as a stepping stone on the way to, to improving. And I've never understood why Villa or Spurs throw away the FA Cup, throw away the League Cup, with reserve teams. So, if I was Eddie Howe, it's the time to play a really decent team, get a statement win and go for it, because it makes a difference. Winning even the League Cup, it makes a difference.
Okay, we don't know that yet. Let him play first, but we don't. This is the general consensus from a lot of City fans. Like, just don't see the point of going all the way up there. Play bench players and the kids. It has taken a little bit of the, because I'll be honest with you, I actually love this competition. Because I think for us, it's always been that bounce into getting that first trophy in February.
Yeah, it is. And
then finishing the season on a high. And Pep's the one manager who has always treated this competition with the respect. It's always been the strongest team generally going out. And we've generally, that's why what was it, 4 in a row we won? 4 in a row?
4.
And obviously United nicked it off us last season. So, we did want it back, but a lot of fans are like, we're going to have to put it on hold. There's simply, to put it bluntly, if you look at the quarter-final stage for the Carabao Cup, it's the week commencing the 18th of December. And the FIFA Club World Cup is when we come into it, begins on the semi-final on the 18th of December. And we're due to play on the 19th of December. So the whole first team squad will be in Saudi Arabia. So we can't even say like Rico Lewis or a Calvin Phillips, because all them will also be in Saudi Arabia. And we've sold all our EDS last summer. So we're kind of having to, and it's just going to be so weird. I think you'll get a strongest team tomorrow night, So I think, for example, Jack Grealish will play because I think he needs game time coming out of injuries. Ortega's going to play. Oscar Bob, Rico Lewis, and probably Sergio Gomez.
Do you think Calvin will play? I mean, that's the interesting one for me. Is
100%.
Is he needs game time if he's going to, be played against Wolves instead of Rodri?
I mean, Coffee did say, Coffee's asked you lads a question here. Someone is somehow escaping the San Siro with a draw, scoring out against Sheffield. Will our players be more confident against City? But my question is, with the Champions League, is Eddie Howe going to take this serious? Because this, I mean, I don't know. What is the vibe coming from up there?
I don't know about what PD thinks, but I've changed my lineup 3 times, PD, because I think Eddie's going to rotate as well.
I think he might as well, but he'll probably still play a decent enough lineup as well. I think there might be rotation at the fullbacks, maybe centre midfield, and I could see up front in attack as well with the 3 as well. He might keep one. I've got the feeling he's going to play Livramento and Lewis Hall in the game on Wednesday night.
I mean, I think Isak's going to play. I think Isak's going to play. I think Tonali's going to play.
So no chance then, Rich. We just might as well pack up and go home with what we're taking.
I think Gordon may still play because of Barnes' injury.
Yeah,
they're going for it, Rich. We're not. Pack up, go home.
I would have said Gordon may not play this if Barnes was still fit, but I think Gordon may play this, and I think Murphy might play this game as well. Jacob Murphy.
I've got Murphy. I think he'll play. I don't think he'll play Sean Botman, but I think he'll play one of them, and I think he'll play Lascelles next to him. I just kind of, I don't know if it's going to be Sean Botman. I wouldn't play Lascelles, but that's what I think Eddie's going to do. I just can't decide whether that'll be Sean Botman.
So pretty good team then. You're thinking like 5 or 6 of your best 11 then, and 5, which is what normally in other seasons what we would normally do. I do think we'll play one of our centre backs, say probably Mark, and I think someone like Ake.
Well, he's already said Ruben Diaz. He's not playing. He's already said
Yeah.
Ruben Diaz won't play because he's played 90 minutes every game plus the international.
Yeah, someone like Guardiola or Ake because he's had a bit of an injury, and Guardiola because he's finding his feet. He could play one of those two, I think.
Is do you reckon Haaland's going to play?
No. I don't think we'll see Haaland or Alvarez. That's what
you won't see either of them. It'll be Oscar Bob. Oscar Bob will play tomorrow night.
Play it. It's about a false 9.
Yeah. I mean, no, I've been thinking about this. I'm like, because he's got to play some of them. Because our squad, we've only got a 20-man squad. Yeah. And all right, we said the other day, 4 of them are goalies. So we're basically a 15, 16-man squad. And 5 of them are injured. So I'm not sure if you lads have noticed. If you look at our bench for the last few games, there's been 2 or 3 goalies on it, and we can't even fill a bench at the moment.
I've noticed you have been struggling like with injuries and stuff. I haven't watched City loads this season, but from what I have watched of them, it's just the same old City really doing what they do. And I'm still, even though you've got injuries, you mentioned players there, Rico Lewis, Phillips, Ortega. They're still good players, and it's still going to be a tough game for Newcastle. Peter, you'll agree with this. Whenever you play Manchester City, it's a difficult game.
It always will be.
And it's the ironic thing is we weren't even meant to play each other because they got us in the wrong. You'll notice they got us mixed up.
They got this in the wrong draw, mixed up, the wrong number.
Yeah, so we weren't meant to play each other.
Yeah, someone doesn't know that NE comes before NO in the alphabet.
I know.
It's staggering.
It is like,
it's like they did it on purpose to draw U's or to make it difficult for us or difficult for you. It's bizarre, honestly, the way they did it. But I'm still expecting a tough game. I don't care who you's put out, honestly. Yous are the best in the world for a reason, and it's not just because your first 11's class. It's because your squad's class, and your youngsters are class. So Eddie Howe will go out. He will put a team out that he thinks is good enough to beat Manchester City. And it still might not be good enough because it's just what it is. But I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've never been more confident playing this because I know you've got injuries. I didn't know about this World Championship thing, which is another bonus for Newcastle. But I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? It's just, it's going to be a tough game, regardless. That's what I think. Anyway.
I'm just looking at the actual EDS squad now. And Cakey's out. He's out on loan. Liam Delap's out on loan. I heard there was talk of Joel and Darla coming in tomorrow. It will. I mean, Wednesday. The intriguing thing for our point of view will be who plays tomorrow night for our EDS and who doesn't. Because obviously with the FA rule, they can't play within 24 hours. Whoever's going to Newcastle won't be involved tomorrow night. So that'll be the very intriguing thing. I think it's that auto windscreen or what, Pizza Hut Cup. I don't know what they call it anymore. That where you play your youth team if you're in the Premier League.
Oh yeah.
Papa John's. I always call it the auto windscreen. I just remember the windscreen. You say, showing me age. But because I really, really do want to. I want to win on Wednesday. I love this competition with a passion.
I did. We do
Absolutely
as well.
Absolutely love this because, and it's why I put the poll out of, do you want to win the Club World Cup or do you want to win the Carabao? And for me, I understand from the club's point of view, they want to win the Club World Cup because they've never won it, and you always win it. You can then be classed as the best in the world officially. You get the nice big gold badge in the middle of your shirt, and off you go. And but nothing beats going to Wembley and winning a trophy.
Well, we were very close to that last season,
and that's the bit that hurts for me because we can't do it. Yeah. I know we can't do it because when you're at the quarterfinal stage, they're not crap teams. Generally, you're gonna get a decent team, and we're literally gonna have to throw our EDS out. And it's EDS that we're actually in the middle of rebuilding because we've sold half of it.
No one wants to give anyone momentum either. Like Pep won't want to lose because ultimately in the history books, it doesn't matter whether we play our third 11 or the first 11. In the history books, once the game's over, you lost the game. You didn't win it. And I think, even if it is a weakened side, I think for Newcastle beating City, it puts an end to a run of not always great results against us. It's a win. I mean, look at Arsenal. I mean, they were celebrating winning the league for drawing the Community Shield against us. I mean, you do
it's a big trophy. Arteta said, Rich, he's won a trophy this season. It's in his cabinet. It's on record.
That's what I mean. But if he believes that, and the Arsenal team believe that, and it gives them a boost, then it's helped them. So, I think it's sad that if we have to do it, because I've always loved the fact that we were one of the few teams who didn't generally play weakened teams in the FA Cup and the League Cup. And I mean, I hate it in the FA. It's bad enough in the League Cup when people play their second 11 in the FA Cup, which as a kid was the biggest trophy of the lot. I mean, I go back to being, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. The FA Cup, and apart from maybe the World Cup, was the biggest thing in football. It was bigger than the First Division and the European Cup. It was the whole country stopped and watched the FA Cup. So I don't like not taking those cups seriously, but I just don't want to see us risk, a Haaland or a Diaz getting injured, and then a big run of league and European fixtures, and that's the thing. If we don't have any backup for the league, so if we do have another injury, then that could start to become, an 18-year-old kid who no one's ever heard of coming in, and yeah, they could be the next Phil Foden or Rico Lewis, and that could be good, but they might be the next, Barry Conlon or Martin Buster Phillips. I mean, I doubt it.
Whoa.
I doubt we've got anyone
Martin
like that in our
Buster
academy
Phillips
now.
Was going to be the first £10 million man. Leave it alone. The late, great Alan Ball said he was going to be the next £10 million player. Dr. Footy Discreet said we don't have to sacrifice the game on Wednesday. No, we don't have to sacrifice it, but you can't win the competition. This is where my honesty kicks in. You are not going to win with an under-18s team in the quarterfinals. And before anyone says
lucky, Burton Albion,
which you're not going to do, you're not.
Or
our under-18s just scraped by Grimsby Town 2 weeks ago, and you want them to go up against someone in the quarterfinals of the Carabao. The point I'm making is, I think I understand where Pep's coming from. He's saying, why put us in a situation where we're going to play another 3 games extra when we're in the middle of an injury crisis and we can't win it? So to me, I don't think it's... Now, listen, we may go there Wednesday and absolutely play a blinder, go through, and then we're sat there in 3 weeks going, well, we might end up with Chelsea, and we go, what do we do now?
I mean, I think you could put anybody out against Chelsea at the minute.
The point I mean is, at some point, it has to end. Yeah. It's got to end, because even like, you say tomorrow on Wednesday we put Ortega, Rico Lewis, like we said out. They're all still then going to go to Saudi Arabia. That's the problem. He's going to take his whole 20-man squad out to Saudi Arabia.
So then the question, Martin, in many ways is, tomorrow playing Rico Lewis isn't, about the game. It's about playing Rico Lewis.
That's what Pep said. It's about game time.
Lewis, and there are players, Lewis, Grealish, possibly Ake, possibly Akanji, maybe not. He's played a fair bit. Certainly Calvin Phillips, who they could do with a decent, Gomez. They could all do with some game time. So there are probably 5 or 6 players who, will play for the first team who we can play in that game to give them game time. My biggest worry is probably, number 9, because normally we play Alvarez if we leave Haaland out. But, it's a big change to go to a right winger who's not really played, any first team games, to have them leading the line. You never know. We may see a surprise there, because one thing he has said a number of times about Haaland is Haaland's not yet. Haaland needs a lot of games to get fully match fit, and he's not yet fully up to speed. So he may surprise us.
I mean, the one thing I would say is, if Jack Grealish is struggling, well, not struggling for fitness, but he needs to get his match fitness up, I don't think Kieran Trippier is going to play. So that'll be a bonus for him, because I think he's going to be up against Livramento, who is similar. He hasn't hardly played all season. We bought him in the summer, but we're hoping to see a bit more of him, and he hasn't. So Grealish is going to be up against a player who's probably at the same match fitness as him. So I think we're going to be very similar with some of your players that we bring in. They're just not going to be up to speed either, and it'll be interesting whatever happens, because obviously it's not going to be both. It's not going to be both main starting lineups going up against each other. And I'm wondering if Pep, in the back of his mind, I don't think he wants to, because he's a winner, and but maybe he's thinking in the back of his mind, if we go out on Wednesday, it means I don't have to worry about injuries. I worry about next rounds of this, that, and the other. I don't think so, because of the way the guy is, but it does get you thinking. But I still expect Man City to put a decent team out, whoever it is.
I mean, Pat, are you aware that, Martin, are you aware? Yes, I know, just said There are no there's other rounds, but that's the conundrum. You put more games in to something you know you're not going to win, or do you go out and let the players have that rest time? Do you know what I mean? It's a chicken and an egg situation. This. It really is, because we're sat there going, yeah, we might win tomorrow and it's great. But then you're having the exact same conversation on the 30th of October.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you win that, you're then at the, and then you're at the, well, now we can't be in two places at once. Because we can't even put our second string or reserve team out in the quarters. Like I said, they're all going to be literally over in Saudi Arabia. And this was the problem, because what I did get, I got the Liverpool team up when they had this exact same problem. Now, when Liverpool played, Aston Villa put out Nyland, El Mahada, Chester, Konza, Taylor, Lansbury, Douglas Luiz, Jota, Kodja, Trezeguet. Liverpool put out Kelleher, Hover, Boys, Vanderberg, Gallagher, Chirvel, Christy Davis, Kane, Longstaff, Hill, Elliott. Now, a mate of mine's a Liverpool fan. He hadn't heard of about 8 of those. And that was the situation Klopp was in. The exact this is what Klopp said. I've got my hands tied. And this is the problem. And this is why I mean, as Newcastle fans, you've not won a trophy for such a long time. And as we know, getting that first one back, like we did in 2011 over the FA Cup, it gives you that boost to kick on. And then you get that winning feeling and winning trophies again.
You do, yeah.
And I'm just intrigued on this. Would you rather win a League Cup than go through in the Champions League? Where are the priorities for the club? Oh, because I've got a feeling the club and some of the fans might have different priorities.
I think the owners would pick the trophy right now. But I think the fans, I think most of the fans would pick the trophy right now, because I think we need to get the first one up and running, because it's been a long, long time since we were. I mean, it's nearly over 50 years now, and well, it probably is over 50 years. And we nearly did it last season, and I just think just get that first trophy out of the way, because we're not going to win the Champions League, we're not going to win the Premier League. While we're snack the FA Cup up every year, I don't think we've been past the 4th round for about, God knows, 10 years or something. So the best chance we've got is the Carabao Cup, and I personally think we should go for it. And I think Eddie will put a strong line out. I think he'll rest some players. Well, we've got to go for it. And we could look at it this way. We're going to, if we get through, and we're going to knock the favourites out of the competition. And we're going to knock one of the best teams out. No, our luck, we'll draw Liverpool away next trip. But that's, but we've got to look at it that way.
No, I think
not City out, and that is just a massive, massive thing. And it's funny, because we're looking at this going, this is our like big chance to get our first trophy, and you're looking at it as we've won this before, and we've got other things, big things looking at towards, and this, that, and the other. And it's honestly, it's a funny one, and it got me thinking as soon as you mentioned that Club World Cup thing, because it reminds us of Man United a few years back when they were in a similar situation.
The FA
where
Cup.
I think they dropped out the competition. They pulled out because they went over there, and they basically said it wasn't for the money, but it was. And I mean, does that enter clubs' heads now that we just drop out the competition because we can't do it? I don't know. But you can see what's happening now. They're just playing their youngsters. And
you know what,
there's
though,
nothing else you can do.
If we had no injuries, I think it would be a slightly different scenario. But do you know what? Why you should go and win something? Look at West Ham this year. West Ham, middle of last season, not playing well. The club was on a downer. They went and won the Conference League, and the atmosphere at the games is is just light years from anything I've seen there in a long while. The club's bouncing, they're playing better. They sing champions of Europe. All their London rivals, and I think it's and look at the time they had out in the final last year. Was it 15,000 fans, whatever went? It was amazing, and it's just been a you don't earn much money from the Conference League, but it has changed the club, and for the better. And I think that's what winning a trophy does. And so I said before, like someone like Spurs, who have been in a position for years to have really taken the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup seriously. They've been up there with a decent side, and they kept playing reserve 11s and going out of both. And I just never understood it, because getting that trophy, whether it's the League Cup or even more so the FA Cup, get that trophy and what it does for a club, for the fans, for the mood, for the mentality, it's huge. And I think Pep said it. It's all about winning. When we won the FA Cup back in 2011, we'd never have won the league the next season if we hadn't gone and won the FA Cup that year. You have to get that winning mentality. The players have to learn how exhilarating it is, and how much they want that kind of that drug of exhilaration, again and again. So
I've just got to put this comment up from Amber. But smash the Geordies, take it seems it comes to, scaremongering is pointless. Who's scaremongering? We're giving you a fact, mate. We can't be in two places at once. I'm not saying, no one's saying scaremongering. We can't be in two places at once. Don't blame me. Write your emails to FIFA and take it out with them on the dates they've given us. Ain't our fault.
I mean, it is crazy how, like, FIFA and the FA and whoever's involved in all this can't come up with a way of you being able to do both. Just move a game to a different date. It's bloody stupid. Honestly, it is.
There's hardly any. You'll see it this season being in the Champions League. When you're in the Champions League, the FA Cup, the League Cup,
I'm going to address this.
There's just no.
What do I not know as a fact?
The future.
The dates are already out. The quarter-final of the Carabao Cup is week commencing what, Rich? The 18th of December.
Yeah, December, isn't it? Yeah.
Manchester City are playing on the 19th of December. The fixture list is already out for the Club World Cup. So I'm giving you a fact, Andy. I do know. He's in a right wind-up mood here, this one, isn't he? I don't know as a fact. You go on the FIFA World Cup website and it'll tell you. Why risk injury and mileage and legs for a cup? That's just my opinion on this. I think Pep's looking at that. Why risk an injury and mileage and legs for a cup we can't win? That's my only thing with it. And the thing is, we could only go off Pep's cup. Now, someone did say to me today, wasn't Andy, by the way, that Pep said this when we played Liverpool after the World Cup. So, and he went and played a strong team. So maybe he's playing silly buggers again. I don't know. I just don't see it.
I'm sure. I mean, didn't he say something, PD, at the start of the season when we went and played over there? He mentioned about some players being out injured and they weren't. Can you remember?
You did, yeah.
I can remember which players it was. And then I looked and I went, yeah, there's Pep playing mind games again. And he could be playing massive mind games again. I don't know. But I didn't, like I said before I come on the show, I didn't realise you had this problem with this this competition over in Saudi Arabia. Now,
first time I've heard about it as well.
Yeah, I didn't have a clue. And that changes everything for me because, I mean, I could, you know what it is, I could predict the score, what I think is going to happen, but you just don't know till you see what team Pep puts out. And same as Eddie. I've got no idea at this moment in time what I think Eddie will put out, because I could see I've changed my lineup 3 times, and I haven't just put 2 or different. I've changed it 5 different players, and it honestly I've got no idea at the minute, because you just don't know who's going to play.
Yeah, you never know. You could Eddie could select Lewis Smiley. You could go with Alex Murphy as well. There's 2 academy players. You never know.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, Lewis Miley especially, because he is a talent. But it's one of those. I mean, people like Callum Wilson are going to play because they're protecting him, because he played at the weekend, so he's definitely not playing. Isak didn't, so he's starting. That I have no doubt. I don't think Trippier will play, like I said before. It's still going to be a talented team we put out, but I still think it all depends what Man City put out as well. And until you see that lineup, it's just our ifs and buts at the minute.
And the chances are, I wouldn't be surprised, Martin, if a lot of the players travel regardless. So, you know, it's not necessarily going to be a clue for Eddie if, you know, players are left at home. I think most of the players who are fit will probably travel.
Mm-hmm.
And we might have a very strong bench, you know, just to keep the thinking going.
Fixture agent run by clueless idiots. Yeah.
Well, listen, no, there's just I think partly there's no choice. I think it's the fact there's too much football. It's not like there's lots and lots of spare. There's lots of, you know, there's not a lot of spare weekends. You got 2 more international breaks, haven't we, for before Christmas? You know, one in mid-October, one in later. We've got
within the national breaks.
Yeah, you've got 6 Champions League games to fit in. You've got 3 cup, you know, League Cup games to get in. You've got all the league games to get in, and then you've got, you know, for us, you had the Super Cup and the Club World Cup in. That's another 3 games, I think. So, you know, you can't really even blame the fixture people, because if you've got 2 or 3 games every week, regardless, then yeah, it's hardly their fault. It's just too many games.
I mean, it's probably just a matter of time before the big teams play the youngsters in this competition anyway.
Well, a lot do. I mean, yeah, you're right. You know, most of the teams will probably rotate half of the best. Yeah. I mean, how many Premier League teams are going to play a best 11? I'd be surprised if there's pretty much any.
No,
already.
Not now. I mean, you could even argue that. I mean, I was going to say Brighton there, but they're in the Europe anyway. But I'll use Brighton as an example. Last season, they would probably rotate as well, and that was something they could go for. And I just think it's coming to the time with this competition, unfortunately, where I think it's only going to get worse, especially as the top teams just start putting youngsters out. Even when you get to the later rounds in the quarterfinals, it'll probably keep happening because there's too much football to play. And obviously we haven't noticed that for a number of years, but obviously this is the season where we've realised what it's like, because all of a sudden you're playing on a Saturday now, you're playing on a Sunday, like we're playing Sunday, and then we're playing Wednesday, Saturday, then we've got PSG next week on the Tuesday, Wednesday, and all of a sudden the games build up and build up and build up, the injuries pick up, and
that's it.
Then all of a sudden, I mean, are we going to be in a similar situation to this in a few weeks if we do win on Wednesday? Are we going to have a problem with injuries, and we're going to look at them?
Quite possibly, yeah. I mean, it does happen, but it is brutal, because you see when you're playing midweek European games, especially in your group, where you're not even going to have a European game that's remotely easy. You've got to be 110% on your game for every single match. There's no chance of a rest or 2 at the end. And what Howe has to do is he has to, in his head, when he's thinking about this Wednesday, he also has to think, well, who's going to play Saturday? Who's going to play next Wednesday? Who am I going to give a rest on Saturday for Wednesday? Who do I need to rest today because I need them to play both those games? And that's what ends up happening. So, there will be, I'm sure, players who you'll rest because you'll be thinking, right, we need Trippier in both. He's going to have to play 3 games in a week, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, because we need him for those games. Therefore, we have to rest him. So I think there's definitely going to be that for Newcastle. And that exists for City, but you're adding on to it the injuries and the smaller squad, and they're like, and that's why because Pep's thinking, well, I need to play, most of the 11, they're going to need to play Saturday, then they're going to need to play Tuesday, then they're going to need to play against Arsenal, and therefore I can't risk anyone being tired or injured or anything else.
I'm sorry, I was just dealing with something there. I was great when the Leicester final last season, especially we backed them a few games later. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Manchester United.
Yeah. We have so many. Go on, Rich.
I was just going to ask about the mood at Newcastle because beginning of the season, I think you had the statistically 4 hardest games to start the season you could have had in that. In 23, I think the 4 teams who were the most form was City, Brighton, Liverpool, and Villa. So you had this ridiculously hard start to the season, and then, actually, I think you should have beaten Liverpool watching that game.
We should have done, I think.
And, I think Brighton and City, deserved wins against you, but lots of people were saying Newcastle in crisis, housing trouble. I'm like, they've had such a hard start,
Well,
and yeah, how is it amongst the fan base? Because some people were like out, some of the Twitter, gobshites were tweeting, "Oh, we're finished. The owners want Howe out," and others were, "Shut up, we've had a hard start."
Not real Newcastle fans is what I can say about that. The fact is when we lost 3 games last season, of course we did lose against Liverpool, then we lost the cup final, then we lost to Hughes after that. But then after that we pulled it back. We kind of started to do the similar thing again. We've lost 3 games in a row. After the international break, we beat Brentford, maybe not the greatest of games, but we needed the win, which we got out of that one. Okay, we got a fairly decent draw against AC Milan. We may not have had many chances, but I think we had the best out of a lot of them. And then on Sunday, we absolutely embarrassed Sheffield United on their home territory. So we came back. So Eddie Howe's he's going to find a way to get the lads going again, which he's so far he has done after the international break. I think it was just to kick up the backside the players needed. And so far,
I mean,
look where we are. Yeah.
I mean, City, I watched the game against City, and I just thought we weren't good enough on the day. I thought City deserved the win. I
did have many
chances. Thought we sat back a bit too much, and maybe it was because we're playing Man City away. I don't know. But it's just what it is.
But City stopped playing at times as well.
Liverpool was a joke because after 71 minutes, we were winning 1-0. And then we threw the game away. Absolutely threw the game away.
Yeah.
And you know what it is? It's just, I mean, that's the worst thing we could have done as well, because ever since that game, my God, Liverpool fans don't keep off our Twitter page at all. Our official Twitter page. We're apparently not a big club according to them, but they keep commenting on every game we play. And it's ridiculous. Brighton was a joke. Terrible.
I was wondering what had happened to them all, because for years we've heard about how Liverpool have better players in every position than us and a better manager. And I've never quite understood why they don't, bearing in mind they've got the best players in every position. But they've all disappeared. But unfortunately, they've been replaced by Arsenal fans telling us how scared we are of them and stuff. So obviously Liverpool have all gone to your pages, and we don't hear from them anymore.
I mean, I don't know if you've noticed it, PD, but every time when we beat Sheffield United 8-0, all the comments were from Liverpool fans saying, "Oh, we did it in 92, 9-0." It's always about them. Everything. And I keep getting told off Liverpool fans, we're on a big club, so why are you bloody commenting on me every 5 minutes? You know what I mean? Just focus on your own club. But
Yeah,
They won't do that.
honestly, they're a pain in the flaming arse. They really are.
well,
we played
they tell us
Brentford.
they don't care about. Yeah, they don't care about City winning the league or don't care about the Champions League, but they keep mentioning it. And you're like, well,
Yeah,
we
just
haven't got
concentrate
any
on your club.
And how
We
many
haven't got
times?
any issue. We haven't got anything. Blah 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 blah.
The amount of times I've had club whinging about us as well is just.
Oh, honestly, you know what it is? What did he say the other day? He was in it. It was about the assistant manager standing in the box with the manager. He says,
City,
that's only because of Newcastle. That. And I thought, here I come in Liverpool again. I thought, you know what it is? They're just... And against Liverpool, honestly, I was annoyed as hell because
the fact
Anthony Gordon destroyed Trent in the first half.
He did.
Absolutely destroyed him.
In that game.
And then in the second half, he didn't do it. No, again. No. And we're through the game away, but
that was annoying.
At the weekend, we did what we've been... Well, Eddie basically told them, just go out and do what you do.
It was a team performance on Sunday.
Yeah, he unleashed them and that was it. And we've got Burnley at home next in the league after yous. And I'm expecting Eddie to do the same. Just go out and do what you do. And we'll be up there. We'll be up there. Liverpool fans think we're bloody shite. But I'm telling you now, we'll be up there. But it'll be tough to finish where we were last season, but I'm sure we'll give it a go. That's for certain.
That's the main thing. That's what we can do.
But as for the Carabao Cup, I think we need to go for this competition.
Yeah, we do.
We need a trophy. We need, because all I keep hearing is, you haven't won a trophy for 50 odd years. I'm sick to death of hearing it. Just get that out of the way, right? Then we can move on. Then we can shut Liverpool fans up and shut Tottenham fans up because they're the main instigators.
Yeah.
And
they always find something new. It'll be you haven't won a trophy, then it's you haven't won the league, then it's you haven't won the Champions League, then it's you haven't won the quad or something like that. You know, so there'll always be something. But you know, I reckon I do think that for Newcastle, and I'd say the same for Spurs, Villa. Everyone should be going for this trophy because winning it will make a difference to the club.
Absolutely. You've got Europe confirmed for next season if you win it as well. Whether if it's the Europa League, you've got Europe confirmed as well if you win this tournament as well.
It's funny, you know, because Liverpool fans keep referring to her with what oil neighbours, as they say it. You noticed that? The two oil clubs, you know, the oil neighbours, that's what they call them. And it's just like, oh my God, just concentrate your own club. Honestly, but they do we use, mate. It's not just Newcastle. I've watched Man City as well. They constantly comment on you.
Done it with us for 10 years.
Aye. The minute you won that Champions League, there was people putting up signs saying, I haven't won it this many times, and I'm thinking, oh God, do Man City fans care really what you think right now? Is they're celebrating winning the Champions League, one of the greatest cup competitions in world football, and they're saying, man, we've won it 5-6 times. I don't even know how many times they've won it.
Just what I got you two on, and I want to ask this because I'm intrigued by it. The Bruno G contract, obviously it's now come out, he's got this release clause. What's your opinion on it? Because I mean, what if we start, do you know what the release clause is?
I think it's over 100 million. We don't know the exact, but we heard it's over 100 million.
Apparently, from what I've heard, it's not. Well, Liverpool fans reckon he wants to come to them. Of course, Liverpool fans would, you know what I mean? But I've heard that it's in excess of 100 million, which means it's above 120 odd million. But I was told that Newcastle were the ones who put this clause in, not Bruno, which I found strange. I found this out yesterday. I originally thought it was Bruno who asked for it. And I don't know if you noticed at the game yesterday, Bruno, did you see what Bruno did when he scored a goal? There's a video come out and he went to the fans, put the ball to one side and shouted, I'm in staying. That's what he said to the fans. There's a video on and all that. So, I mean, it's a so-called release clause. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those. I wasn't overly happy about it. I did a video on it 2 days ago saying that sounds to me like a player who, yeah, is happy here, but if a Real Madrid come calling, he'll be away. That's what I thought at the time.
I think if one of the teams had been Madrid.
Yeah. Oh, well, I have no doubt if Real Madrid put a massive bid in for Bruno, he would probably want to talk to them. I have no doubt about it. Madrid are massive, right? And it's one of those, isn't it?
I wouldn't rule out us either.
Oh, no, I wouldn't rule out you.
Definitely not, actually.
No, I wouldn't rule out yous. But the one thing I will say about Bruno is, I mean, he was back to his best at the weekend again. And he hasn't been at his best this season.
That's the thing.
But I mean, I'm hoping. I don't think he will. I'm hoping he plays on Wednesday, but I'm not sure if he will, because we'll keep him for the weekend. But
I think
it's weird because we're actually in a similar one with Bernardo, aren't we, Rich? Signed his contract, but he's got a £50 million release clause.
Yeah,
that kicks in from the summer, which basically means, you know, from what I've heard and what I'm getting, this is just me guessing. I think it's I'll give you one more season, then I'm out the door for 50 million.
No, I think it's. I don't know if it's even out the door. I think he's just open. He's just making sure if Barcelona ever sort out their car crash financials,
I love it, Billy.
Money, I think he wants. He's wanted to go to Barcelona for the lifestyle, for everything else for a couple of years, and he's just having insurance for that. If he wanted to go to Paris or somewhere, he'd have probably gone. But it's almost like a Barcelona clause for him. And I get it. He's
apparently it's not rich. I know what you're saying, but it's an open.
Oh yeah, it'll be open. But for him, it's about getting back down to the Mediterranean, getting that lifestyle, and bringing up his kid in the sunshine. He and I kind of get it, but it does seem that there's only Barcelona in that whole area who've got the money and the lifestyle he wants, so he's almost hanging on for them to have the money to pay. And I think what this does is it just stops the nonsense. Barcelona just have to pay up, and all this nonsense of them, saying they're about to bid 70 million and bidding nothing, or saying why don't we take him on loan, as if we're going to loan a player to them as a favour. I mean, all that nonsense can stop, and they put up and the deal happens, or they don't put up and it doesn't, and then we just don't have the nonsense of the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, what we'll do, we'll bring it back to obviously Wednesday night. I don't even want to guess the team we're going to put out, because I can't. I just don't know what he's going to do. Pep could throw everyone in, and we just go with as long as we can be in it for. And we'll just wait and see what happens. But obviously, I do think Ortega plays. I think Rico plays.
Gomez will play.
I think Grealish will probably be the one. Maybe Docker, because he's not played a lot.
I think one of Ake or Akanji.
Yeah.
Or Guardiola. I think at least one of them will play at centre back. I don't know because most of our kids, like the Finley Burns, etc., stay. They're all on loan, so there isn't any.
That's what I mean.
Is it? Yeah. So, I think, we'll probably
see. Interesting who we put on the bench. Honestly, because that's part. I think the bench will be coming up on Wednesday, and part of that is the intrigue of what this kid. Because I'm really intrigued about this whole game. About how
I think the bench will be really strong.
The team we're going to choose, and it just could be a very weird game, weird atmosphere. I think it's just going to be weird. Are you sold out up there for this one on Wednesday? I know we've sold our allocation out.
I've got no idea. Honestly, I don't. I mean, I know recently it's been like gold dust trying to get a ticket at that club. I mean, it's you go into members ballots and season ticket sales, they get this, that, and the other, and then when you go into a members ballot, it says you're 30,000th in the queue, and it's like nearly impossible to get a ticket. As for this one, I'm not sure. I've never seen anything say, there's 20,000 tickets left, or they've sold 40,000, I sold 52. I've got no idea at the minute. Do you know, Peter? I've got no idea.
I don't actually as well.
It hasn't been put out by the club, which tells me there's not many tickets left if there's, because normally if there is, they'll broadcast it. So, I mean, I would expect with it being Man City at home, it'll push 50,000, especially if how many you got? 3,000?
No, nearly 5.
5? Oh, well, there you go.
Nearly 5.
There you go.
We've got the whole upper levers.
All upper level. Yeah. It'll probably be full then, I would have thought. Maybe the odd couple of hundred. But it's well, look at it this way. I mean, I've said I kind of pick. I mean, you were going on about City's bench, what you think it'll be. I think Newcastle's bench, that'll be full of quality, just in case they need to bring them up.
I think we'll have a very strong bench, just because we haven't got much choice. But the truth is, if we played a weakened side and with 10 minutes to go, it's all square. You might think, chuck Haaland on, chuck Alvarez on, give it a go for 10 minutes, nothing to lose. And the same with you. If you were sitting there 0-0, you're 1-0 up or something with 10-15 to go, chucking on Botman or whoever else, or bringing on Wilson for 15 minutes to get a goal. I mean, it makes sense.
I mean,
sorry, I was just going to say the poll has now ended. We did say earlier on, you have to sacrifice one competition. Would it be the League Cup or the Club World Cup? And with nearly 70 votes, League Cup won by 69%, and the Club World Cup has won by 30. Lost, only got 30%. So everyone sacrificed the League Cup. So that's going to be an interesting one. Apparently he's on Sky as well, which I kind of thought, I've got a feeling that's why they never changed that original tie around. Because I think it ought to be scheduled for the TV. They couldn't change it around.
Yeah.
I don't think they wanted to. Because the integrity of the competition had gone by that point.
So who did Norwich get? Who should you have had? We should have had Norwich.
Fulham.
Yeah, it was. I believe it was.
It's just come in the comments there. It's sold out, and that's somebody who I know from the channel. So it's a sellout apparently. So it should be. As for Norwich, I cannot remember, but it wasn't an easy tie, but it wasn't a massive one. Like a difficult. It wasn't Liverpool away or something like that, or Arsenal away. But like I said before, I cannot believe you can balls that up. And like I said, it's like they did on purpose. It really is.
But what we'll do is, sorry, go on, Gary.
No, it's fine. Right.
I was going to say, I think we'll go around and just ask you who you think will go through. We don't really do score predict, but we'll see who we're going to go through. Pete, start with you. Are you going through, or is it? What are you thinking? I hope you don't go to penalties, by the way.
No,
I'm not saying there for penalty shootout.
I'm gonna say us to just go through.
See, this is when we play Man City, it's one of those I keep thinking this will be the game we'll win for the first time in about 800 years against you. And every time I'm disappointed and I go, oh, well. But with the situation you're in and the injuries you've got, which I didn't realise about, I think we might sneak it 2-1.
Sure.
But that's purely based on the fact of your injuries and what you have said about this championship and everything like that. I think if this had been a Premier League game, I would have gone. At St James's, I would have gone for a draw. But I'm going to go for a 2-1.
Rich?
I think we'll lose. I do think he's going to play a pretty weak side. I'm just hoping that a star or two of the future is seen, and we get to see a really good performance from someone like Oscar Bob. But I just can't see. I can't see Newcastle not having a stronger side than us out, and with a huge crowd behind, and with a real incentive to go and win the trophy. I just think they'll have a stronger team out, and they'll have more motivation for the game. So I can see us losing 2-0 or something. It's unfortunate. I'd rather we were.
Oh no, Rich! Let me celebrate one goal. Let me travel out there and celebrate a goal. Right.
Oh, you'll get a decent kebab. Yeah.
I'm going up there for kebab. Jesus.
These boys will tell you where the best kebab near the ground is, and then at least you can have a decent kebab. Yeah. Yeah.
No, straight to penalties. Straight to penalties, Coffer.
Yeah.
No replay.
I'll tell you what. Didn't be surprised if it's about 0-0 after 65 minutes, and then whoever makes the best decisions from the bench is the winner. I wouldn't be surprised at that either.
You'll have both managers not wanting to make subs.
Yeah, exactly.
You wait there and you wait there. It's like, we'll just go.
It's as long as the one thing we don't do is just let Foden run the game like what happened at the Etihad at the start of the season, because I thought Foden was
he was
absolutely brilliant that day. But I think we gave him far too much space at times in the middle of the box. And if Foden does play, I just hope we don't give him as much space as we did the last time. Because if we do, we could be in trouble again.
And he's a player who could play if Pep is going to play players. Foden's not fatigued. He can seemingly play a lot of football. So he's one of the ones who's, if we do play a few of the first 11, he's one of the ones most likely to play, I would have thought.
See, I've got a feeling he's going to start, because he hasn't played for years regular all season. He hasn't been he hasn't been a Haaland or a Diaz out like that. Yeah. He's been in and out.
Martin, Foden could start at false 9 with Bob and Grealish or something. So, maybe if Alvarez and Haaland are rest, maybe Foden, because he has played there a lot.
Games.
Has he?
He has, yeah.
Well,
yeah, he's just changing. He just keeps he keeps changing position. It's only Southgate doesn't think Foden's good enough.
Scored 1 goal, 3. I think he's played in nearly every game, or played some part in nearly all the games.
It's only England where he's not good enough.
Yeah, it's Southgate who doesn't rate him.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, because John Lee, Salva. See, that's the thing I'm intrigued with. Haaland, Alvarez. Can you drop both? Sorry, you're not allowed to. Can you rotate both? And then
if you play Foden at 9, I guess you can.
But because everyone in here is going for a Newcastle win. 3-1 Newcastle, 3-2 Newcastle. My son who's going has gone for 4-0 Newcastle.
Oh, wow.
It'll not be that.
Gone for 4-0. Everybody going far then. You might as well stay at home.
He likes a kebab.
They're going.
Do you know what it is? I'm not just saying if it, lack of confidence and all that. If there's one team likely to balls it up, Peter, it's us, isn't it?
Yeah, Alex Johnson's gone City.
Tell you, where anybody's going to cock it up when we've got this chance at us.
Sure. Oh yeah, question for you: will Dan Burn start left back?
No, I think it'll be Lewis Hall.
See, I don't. I think it'll be Matt Target.
I don't think Target should be playing.
No, neither do I. Neither do I. I'm going off what I think Eddie Howe will do. I would play Lewis Hall every time. I think we need game time.
There's something not right with Target at the minute, and I was at the Brighton game, and he didn't look interested at all.
To be honest, I mean, probably every one of us on here is quicker than Matt Target. He's that slow. Honestly,
he had that chance, but he wasn't great in pre-season as well, and he's had nearly a lot of pre-season. so he should be playing, unfortunately.
I mean,
Sorry.
Sorry,
I was going to say that's where I'm at the top of the league. I want us to win. But we don't win, I'm not going to cry.
Yeah. See, I know that's the way it is.
I hate saying it because I really, deep down, if you said to me, "Do you want to win the Club World Cup? Do you want to win the Carabao? I want to win the Carabao." Yeah. And I'll get slaughtered for saying that.
No, I think I'd agree with you. I think most City fans would agree with you.
I know the club wants the Club World Cup.
Yeah. We want that. You know, the ultimate, the thing in football we would want more than anything else is, you know, go for the quad. And you can't go for the quad if you don't go for the Carabao Cup. And I think Pep will think that. You know, how can he better last season? It's probably only winning the Carabao Cup, but I guess he realises he can't.
Oh yeah. Ethan's upset. Have faith, Rich. Me and you are getting battered tonight, Rich. I don't know what's going on, but me and you have upset everyone. Right, City are going to win 5-0. I don't know what. We're only saying what Pep Guardiola's saying. So you all need to be writing into Pep as well and telling him stop being negative. Me and Rich did not come up with the fixtures, ladies and gents. We didn't give the fixture list out. Oh, Rich, it's our fault.
Yeah, well.
Ethan's gone 6-0. Calvin Phillips, 3 goals. Ethan's giving you not a prayer.
Just be glad, Martin, it's not United or Liverpool. Imagine this was United or Liverpool.
That's what's worrying me, Rich.
Talking about throwing a Manchester derby.
Imagine having to throw I was listening to the guy who quite local down here called Ian Cheeseman, who did the BBC for us for years, and that's what his worry was. Is you get through, get to a United in the quarterfinals, and you've got to throw your under-18s out and get tonked. And then you're totally embarrassed because you don't want to walk around anywhere then.
Or send your under-18s to Saudi Arabia.
No, that's what the fan base had said. They said send the under-18s to Saudi Arabia. First team staying here.
But what I'll do is I'll call Newcastle's team out and then I'll let you decide what you think, right? Because I think you will rest players, but this is the lineup I think you'll go for. Dubravka, Livramento, Lascelles, Botman, Target, Tonali, Longstaff, Bruno, Murphy, Isak, and on the left it'll be Hall or Gordon. That's what I think the lineup will be.
Pretty strong team.
I think you rest people like Callum Wilson. I think Trippier will be rested. I think one of Shaw and Botman will be rested. I think Nick Pope will come out. Barnes is injured. He's broke his toe apparently, so I think he would have played the day. And I think Miggy will not play. Almiron. So that's the lineup, I reckon. I said, all depends on your lineup for me. Because I think that's a strong team. Against the team you've been telling me who you think they'll play. I think it's a strong lineup. And I'm confident with that lineup.
I'm looking at our lineup. Edison won't play, so that's Ortega in. And then you got a back line of Walker, Akanji, Diaz, Gamardio. Pep's already said Walker and Diaz won't play. So that means you're playing Ake and Gomez. And I think the back line will be Lewis, Ake, Akanji,
and Gomez.
Ake and Gomez. The middle, possibly Kovacic, but definitely Calvin Phillips. It's the front line I'm struggling with. Because we haven't got anyone else off the bench. We've literally nobody off the bench.
Yeah. I think you'll have Bob and Grealish, and then...
Well, it's going to have to be Alvarez or Haaland. So one of them's going to have to play.
I think you play Alvarez. And I think you put Haaland on the bench.
We're beating you 5-0. So I don't know which way to go with that one. This is what
I think Haaland will be on the bench.
We're out of players, so we're going to have to play at a half-decent team.
Well, it depends. Depends who. I don't know. Don't we have some decent young striker? He's about 18 in the. Yeah, isn't there someone we could play from the under 18s? Must be a couple.
Yeah, he'll play him left back, Ethan, because he'll probably have Grealish at left wing or left side because he needs to give Grealish minutes coming back from injury. Someone said the Weatherspoons is great in Newcastle. Isn't that the one Tonali goes in?
Yep, that's the one.
Well, just on the
outside. No, so this sitting show, starting Grealish after coming back from injury is a risk. No, I think he's got to. I think he's got to play. Don't think he's a risk. I think he's got to play. It's whether he plays the 90 might be the interesting thing.
What injuries he had, like?
Thigh injury. Stephen Bennett's nicking my lad's ticket. Thank you so much, Morgan. Appreciate that. Glad you've enjoyed it, mate. I've got a feeling that City are prioritising the Club World Cup as we've never not won it. Yeah, I agree. Well, listen, we can only go off Pep's comments. Foden's played 5 out of 6. The other one he came on as a sub. Yeah. Club World Cup is a bigger prize.
It's a different prize.
We have a troll. You always love a troll. You always love a troll. Ade, hello, Martin panel. Good evening, mate. How are you? Hope the US is doing you well. Longstaff will get rested. He played full game against Milan and Sheffield.
Maybe.
It's going to be Alvarez or Haaland. It's going to have to be one of them.
I think on that comment, Longstaff's got he can run all day though, and that's why I've got him in. I mean, who else would you put in? Joe Linton's injured, Joe Willock's injured. They're definitely not playing. So we're a bit light. Anderson might come in. He played at the weekend. He could start him, I suppose, but Miley could come in, possibly.
Does anyone know who the referee is, by the way? Because we're going to end him.
I'm not sure who it is.
Because if it's Taylor, you're definitely winning.
So, oh God. To be honest, I think they're absolutely hopeless these days.
I honestly can't believe people are predicting us to lose. Crazy. It's not crazy, Ethan. It's the way it is.
Right. The referee for Wednesday is Chris Kavanagh.
He's not bad.
Oh, I think he's a crock of shite as well.
I don't think there's any good referees.
There's no good referees. They're all shit, honestly.
Wednesday's our League Cup game. We both have Premier League games on Saturday. Newcastle at home, yes. We're away at Wolves on Saturday, and you've got Burnley at home, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got Burnley.
No, but I am intrigued by it, and anyone who is going up there, I wish you a safe journey for any Blues makers Newcastle. On Wednesday evening, I will be up there. If you see me, come say hello. Don't be shy. You go into the game, Pete?
I will be there, yes.
Yeah, I'll meet up, say hello if you want, mate.
I'm usually by the club shop about an hour before kick-off.
I might bring me inflatable Premier League and Champions League. I'll show you. show you a trophy. No,
I'm usually there around about an hour before kick-off.
I don't know what time I'll be getting there. If it's like me, I'll be there by like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going down the metro or wherever it is.
I was going to say, Chris Kavanagh, isn't he a Manc? Hasn't there been controversy like Anthony Taylor with him in the past that, I think he's refereed a lot of City and United games, but I think he's from like Manchester.
Yeah,
from Manchester. Is Kavanagh Mancunian? Didn't know that.
I thought he was. I thought he was from somewhere like,
He is from Manchester. He's from Ashton under Lyme, so.
Oh, bollocks, you're getting beat. Forget it. We're winning 5-0.
Remember the final?
What, they're off now? It's conspiracy.
The final.
I remember the final. We're going on about the referee being from Man United. Remember? Man United.
Oh, yeah. David Coote. David Coote, yes.
Yeah. By the way, that picture of him outside the swamp's fake. We have that issue. It was a fake one.
Again, another crock of shit.
The funniest one's Anthony Taylor, who's like every member of his family ever is a United season ticket holder, but he's an Altrincham fan. So, it's always like, oh, he's not United, but his whole family's United fans. He's obviously a United fan.
See, that's not a bad team. Other than I think you might not be far off that, Ethan. Other than Ortega will start over Carson. I don't think Foden's a funny one.
Isn't Scott Carson
there? Got Foden twice there, Ethan.
Yeah. Isn't Carson like one of the luckiest guys in the world? Honestly,
apparently they
match interview with Martin.
Well, I'll be doing fan reactions after the game, so
they do say. I mean,
you don't get me on
Carson.
Right?
Carson's lucky, but everything you hear from within the club reckons that Carson's absolutely key in the dressing room. He's brilliant with the other keepers, and he's kept his contract and everything going just because of the influence he has around the place. So.
It's like what we've done with Matt Ritchie as well, because he keeps him.
Paul Domet,
Yep.
We've got a few of them. They're just there for the dressing room.
Yeah. Yeah, and and I guess if you're third choice keeper, it doesn't matter so much. And he's probably earning, I don't know. I mean, he won't be earning like the top players, but he's probably earning, a couple of million a year for, collecting medals and a bit of banter around the changing room. Sounds a brilliant job.
Weird one. I agree exactly. Yeah, that's probably a decent show, that Ethan.
I mean, to be honest, that lineup they got put up there, that's a bloody good lineup for you anyway. I think it is, and that would be a tough game for us. I think we would have to go better with our team to play that one. Well, the one I picked anyway.
It was the striking one that called me, because I'm like, we haven't got anyone who can go up top, so it has to be Haaland or Alvarez.
Yeah.
Has to be. Unless he goes
false
9.
He goes false 9 and plays Foden. Foden played the season before. He probably played there more than anyone else, didn't he? So he could do it.
Definitely. But yeah, we'll end it there. What I want to say is a big thank you to all our guests. PD Proudlock, you know where to find him. I have put the link down in the description if you want to go and give PD. And if he wants a fan cam, I'll go and give him a fan cam.
Feel free.
Yeah, but I'll message anyway before I get up there on Wednesday. And Garrett is part of Through Black and White Eyes with Baz, and their link is also in the description. So if you want to go support that channel, go and show it a lot of love. There'll be no show now on Wednesday because I'm not going to be doing any shows driving back. I probably won't be home till about 1-2 in the morning, so we're not going live at 1-2 in the morning. So the post-match for Newcastle will be on Thursday now, part of our Thursday night chat, where we'll go into it. But yeah, everything we've said tonight, City will probably win 5-0, and then we'll end up going all the way to the quarters, and we'll have to make a decision at that point. And then just see what happens. Yeah, it's going to be it's a weird one. It's a weird one. But anyway, thank you, Rich, for joining us again, mate, getting up early. Appreciate it.
No worries.
Lovely.
I mean, the one thing you will see is both Pep and Eddie Howe wouldn't have wanted this fixture. It's the last thing both managers would have wanted in the third round of the Cup. And one of the best teams in the Cup is in the competition's going out on Wednesday, that's for certain. And a big team's going out. So it is what it is. I think it'll be a good game, man. I think it'll be... I
believe it will be.
I'm looking forward to it. I always do when I play Man City, especially at St. James. With Man City, when we play over Man City, I just want to get the game over with, to be honest. I think Bruno mentioned that last season, didn't he? He says, I hate going over there. He says they just pass you off the park. He says, we just want to get the game out of the way. So it's one of those. But it'll be a good game. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Same.
Pete and Gary have been superb, and we can't thank them enough for coming on. Big up to
Thank
the
you.
lads. Like I said, go and show their support by getting over there and showing them support. They will be doing a lot. Well, Baz and Gary will be doing stuff, and Pete will be doing stuff on his channel as well, no doubt. Yeah, have you got any previews coming up tomorrow or anything for this game, or are you just leaving it out?
I've got mine with myself and Mason tomorrow.
There you go. So get up to Pete's channel tomorrow night, and he will, anyone in here, go and show the city love as well. Anyway, we'll see you on Thursday. Big thank you for supporting us. Smash those likes, and we will see you on Thursday night, usual time, and hopefully we'll have won, and then we'll make a decision from there on in. But anyway, take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Good night, all.
Cheers. Thank you.